My chosen artifact is 140.2, a rain drum. It has bronze with blue-green or black-green patina. It is tangible since it's an object and not an idea. It's part of this miniature bronze set tools. This was dated from 400 BC to 100 AD. It was used by the Dongsong people, also known as the Lac Viet. They were found in northern Vietnam, Thanh Hoa Province, near the Red River Valley, approximately 120 kilometers from Hanoi and South China. These implements are around 2,100 years old and found exactly by the local farmers during their agriculture work. Today, the Dongsong civilization is located near the Nam Ma River. It's surrounded by multiple tall buildings, mostly with red roofs on top, trees, and bushes. There are so many beautiful historic buildings surrounding the area as well. The rain drum was used to beseech the gods for rain. These miniature tools were placed next to the dead farmers to escort them to the next world. The farmers believed that the dead farmers could complete the rituals for bringing rain to nourish their rice crops. They would need the ritual implements for communicating with the spirits and in particular asking for rain. The rain drums were suspended above the ground and were struck hard, which caused it to mimic the sound of thunder, companion of rain. In almost every society, the deceased were buried along with one of the miniature bronze tools or similar ones to help them in the next world. These objects always have a lesson to teach us about belief system, social class, occupation, and many more things. Most people of the Dongsong period were farmers. This civilization was in the Bronze Age, who created wonderful artifacts and sculptures using bronze. For example, jewelry, bowl, weapon blades, incense burners, pail for rice wine, etc. These implements were made by using two methods, lost-wax method and puddle casting, out of which the lost-wax method was the most common. It required wax and clay as the two main ingredients. In this method, an original piece was handmade of paraffin or other wax. The wax was then created into the shape they want to make. Wax tubes were added for the entrance of the molten bronze and exits for the melted wax. Next, the entire object was covered with various layers of clay. Heat is applied to melt all of the wax out of the mold. As the bronze was poured into the mold, through the place where the wax tubes were, it formed the shape and the tubes. After it hardened, they removed the tubes, extra bits of bronze, and polished the surface of the piece. This last step is called chasing. The people of the Dongsong culture believed in an afterlife that was, in many ways, similar to the real world. The Dongsong people were skilled at bronze casting, which is evident by the Dongsong drum found widely throughout northern Vietnam and South China. They were best known for the Dongsong drums. They were giant ceremonial bronze drums, luxuriously decorated with numerous visual scenes and warriors, which were considered national treasures. They were also skilled at cultivating rice, keeping water buffaloes and pigs, and fishing and sailing in long dugouts canoes. The bronze-making period was followed by a few Neolithic cultures in some areas of Vietnam. The period was followed by the Han Viet period. The Dongsong civilization was culturally diffused by the Chinese, such as changing their shapes and making new patterns whilst creating sculptures using bronze casting. Much of the material culture of Vietnam was altered. Chinese shapes replaced the indigenous Dongsong shapes in the areas of bronze casting and ceramics, amongst others. These objects could be considered multicultural because there's a mix of ideas from different cultures which is combined into one object. Like I've mentioned earlier, the rain drum is part of one miniature bronze set tools, so it's connected to the other miniature bronze set tools, 141. The one on the left is called a situla. It's pail for ritual rice wine. The one in the middle is a rain drum, and the one on the right is an incense burner. Both sets were used for the same purpose. For example, they both had rituals that they did in order to celebrate the dead. In the past, they would place these objects next to the dead to communicate with them and beseech for rain, as I have mentioned earlier. Samsara is the continuous cycle of life, death, and reincarnation envisioned in Hinduism and other Indian religions. This is similar to what the Dongsong people believed in. Now, only some Hindus believe in samsara, since India is a multicultural country with many subcultures that follow their own sets of norms, customs, and rituals. Different ethnic minorities follow their own traditions, which doesn't always have to be a common one in the country. Another object that is similar to the rain drum is Kalash, metal pot. At the time of great churning of the ocean, known as Samudramanthan, Sri Vishnu, god of preservation, carried the Kalash with divine nectar of eternal life. Since all deities dwell in the Kalash, it is always part of puja. Similarly, in every society in the Dongsong civilization, the deceased were buried along with the miniature bronze tools or similar ones to help them make the transition to the next world.